How you doing? My name's Dave, and this is Kerbal Space Program. I'm playing the career mode, and this is episode 5. In episode 4, we built a lander and a rocket to get us to the moon. Successfully landed. Very nice landing. And now we're ready to explore another world. So we'll get Jeb to EVA. We'll get right into it. We'll use our rocket pack because we haven't unlocked ladders yet. But the gravity on the moon is a lot less. See if we can get his face in the light. There we go. And that'll make for a good screenshot. If you press F2, you can get rid of all this stuff. What is that? The UI, user interface? I don't know what they call that. So Jeb is pretty excited. So we'll go walking around the moon. We'll go look at that big rock there. It was a pretty uneventful flight. Liftoff and orbit were a little bit dicey, but we were able to pull it off. Turn on our light. And look at that rock. That's a big rock. Let's see what's inside. The terrain scatter is basically just texture. There's no surface or anything. The developers did that to kind of give you a break on your processor there. But since we're by the rock, we're going to take a surface sample. The sample appears to be comprised of a large number of materials layered over time. And we're going to keep that data because it's a lot more valuable to hold on to it. And we'll head over here, back towards the lander. And we can do our EVA report. You look up and search the sky for Kerbin. Suddenly, you feel very small. We're going to keep that data. And this game can make you feel small. I can zoom out of Jeb. Show you just how small. There's our canyon. On the edge of our crater, right there. And we can zoom way in and see just how tiny we are on the moon. So, we've gotten our EVA report and our surface sample. It's time for Jeb to plant his flag. And we're going to call this site Jeb's Canyon. And we'll say Jeb here and took some dirt. So there's our flag. Now, to get back into the lander, we'll need to use our monopropellant or EVA pack. And jumped right up to the capsule. We're going to board the capsule. And before we take off, we're going to observe our materials bay, which will give us 100 science if we recover it. So we're going to keep that. We'll do our mystery goo. The goo seems to be less dense here, so we'll keep that. And we've done our science. I gotta remember to get those out, but it'll be much easier when we're in orbit or on our way back to Kerbin. So I think we're ready to begin our ascent. So we're going to shut off our lights. Our SAS is still on, so we have plenty of electricity now though. And we're going to throttle up and immediately pitch north, or east. Track the landing gear. Let's see, how far up does that get us? That gets us at 23,000 meters, so that's plenty. So when we reach this point, we'll be ready to burn for lunar orbit. We'll get back into orbit. Our flag will remain there as a marker. There's many different biomes on the moon, so I plan many return trips. I like to bring the larger capsule, get 3 Kerbinauts out there. So we're a little down on fuel on our external tanks and motors, but we won't need those anymore. Jeb is quite excited. So we're almost up to our apoapsis on our ascent burn. So we're probably okay to start burning a little bit and get into orbit. Yeah, plenty of fuel. So I'll time accelerate until we get to our apoapsis, and then burn for orbit. And you notice it's advancing quite a bit quicker than before. The low gravity really helps out. So we got a little bit of fuel left in those external tanks. And there's Kerbin. And we're almost just right to burn for Kerbin for a return. And I'll have a lot of fuel, but let's place a maneuver node. Let's see if we can get really close on our return. So that we don't have to maneuver much at all. So there's the periapsis. A little bit of fine tuning. Oops. Ah! so it's hard to fine tune this. 21,000 meters should be fine. I don't think we'll hit any mountains, although we'll probably come screaming in pretty fast. So there's our node. We'll reach it in 3 minutes. So let's line up on our marker, time accelerate to our node, and it's just an 8-second burn. So we'll go a little bit of time acceleration. 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop our outer tanks. And we'll put this where we want it. We'll stop it at 29. And there we go. We're on our way back home to our home planet. So we need Jeb to come out and recover these items from our science. So Jeb can EVA. We'll let go. Turn on our light. We'll collect the data from the materials bay. And we'll collect the data from the goof canister. We'll return to our capsule. Grab hold. We can do a EVA report from above the moon's midlands. Board the capsule. And still no crew report. You'd think crew report you could do each time, but that's not the case. So we'll time accelerate or return. We're back in orbit around Kerbal, but our periapsis is low enough that we're going to dip into the atmosphere, and that should aerobrake us enough to slow down. But you can see how quickly we're accelerating the closer we get to the planet. That's kind of the slingshot effect there. And if we didn't run into the atmosphere, we could accelerate that even more and slingshot further into space. So it looks like we might come down on the dark side of the planet. So in space near Kerbal, we have 5 experiments on board that should net us a little bit more science. So let's see, this looks like it might be a touchdown instead of a splashdown. But we have all kinds of fuel, so I always just use it up. So it can be a waste. I'm going to be in a lot of trouble when they implement money, though, and a budget. If I'm restricted by, budgetary constraints. So combine that with research constraints that you start with, and that's going to be a challenge. I'm excited about that. I mean, this game is quite challenging enough in the sandbox mode. When you got all the parts, you can go anywhere if you know how to do it. I'm curious. The next update, 0.24, probably won't come out for a couple of months. They're working on it pretty hard. This game's really come a long way from when I started playing. I started playing the old demo, the 0.13 demo, in June or July of 2012, I think, and then I finally purchased the game in September, right after, like a week after version 0.17 came out. That was the addition of the planets, basically the solar system. So we're slowing down really nice, burning up all that extra fuel. We recovered our science. And we could almost land back at Kerbin. Not quite enough fuel for that. So we'll jettison our rocket in our tank. Jeb is quite excited now. Deploy our parachute. And I'll see you when we're landed on Kerbin. Okay, we've touched down on Kerbin. We'll see if we can get just a little more science. We'll have Jeb get a surface sample from the highlands again, so it doesn't give us very much science. There's not a lot of science available here. We've already got science from this part, but 2.3 we'll get a little bit, and we'll do an EVA report, which won't give us anything. So we'll board our spacecraft and we'll do a crew report, keep that data, and we'll recover our spacecraft. And this will give us science readout to see how much science we got on this mission. So we recovered 8 experiments for a total of 349 science, which brings our total up to 377 science. So we can go to our tracking station and we can go take a look at the flag on the moon right next to the big rock. So this ends this episode of Kerbal Space Program. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.